Hello there. Today we're going to show you how to disassemble the rear brake shoe on a 99 Chevy Suburban. This shoe was making a lot of squealing noises when we put the brakes on, so it was just driving my wife nuts, and we decided to take a look at it. In the past I have had some trouble with our brake shoes for some reason, these low budget brake shoes that you can buy, and although they're low budget, they should have laughed until they wear it under the rivets. But what I found is that they've been cracking across the brake material. So I've already got the tire off. As you see, I've taken off the lug nuts. We'll go ahead and remove the rear brake drum. Set it down here. Okay, this is the shoe assembly. Now before I go much further, I want to go ahead and touch on the safety part of these. Working on a large vehicle like this, it's a 99 Chevy Suburban. I think it weighs in around 6,000 pounds. So it's very heavy. So I've got a floor jack underneath the rear end, and I've got two floor jack stands on there. So I put one underneath the rear axle and one under the frame. I brought them up to give them enough clearance to put those in there, and then I brought down the floor jack and put the weight onto those floor stands, the jack stands. I've got wheel chocks on the front wheels, both front and back of those wheels, so it can't move forward or back, because I've had to release the brake, the parking brake, to get these shoes off. If you've never done it before, you have to release the parking brake. That releases the parking brake on the other side, which could cause this to shift. Although it's an automatic, it is in park, it will shift back and forth a few inches. And that could be enough to knock over your jack stands, and we don't want that to happen. All right, always keep in mind safety. Don't get underneath this car unless you've got it properly supported. All right, this is the exposed shoes. You can see I've got a lot of springs in here. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 springs in there with some retaining clips. One thing I've never seen on YouTube that has worked very well for me is to take some good photos before I take this apart. So I take some good photos with my phone, my smartphone, of all of the spring locations, and that will give me easy assembly when I go to put it back in. I know exactly where these springs are located, the position they're in, front to back, inside, outside, because you can hook these springs up backwards if you're not careful, and we don't want that to happen. The lower adjuster, you can see I've got a spring over the top of that, so that's always nice. You can put that one backwards, and I always want to put it back the way it came off. So taking a good photo, and then I send it to my wireless printer from right here from the garage. Just hit print. I say I take maybe a dozen good photos, and then I go ahead and I send it to my wireless printer. I select the ones I want to keep, and then so I bring back down here in the garage for the reassembly. Okay, now I've replaced these brake shoes already. Like I said, you remove these clips, it pops apart, and now I've reassembled it. Another tip I want to show you that I have not seen on YouTube, I did see it on YouTube, and I looked at some of the other assemblies and the ways to do brake shoes, is get yourself some vice grip type clamps. A couple of these, I've got 4 of them, and I'm able to put those into place. Clamps like that, a C-shaped, a C clamp will also work for you. The vice grips are fairly easy. You can do it with one hand in most cases once you get it preset. And that'll set those shoes into place, and then when you go to put all these springs back in, these shoes shift and roll around on you. You can do that, and you'll have a nice stable base with your shoes. Okay, so get yourself some clamps, clamp those shoes down, and then you're able to pull and push those springs. Another handy tool is a brake assembly tool for springs. You can get this. I got this one over O'Reilly's, and fairly reasonable cost, but it's got a certain type of shape on the tips of these. You're able to hook these springs, stretch them over, and that'll help push those springs on and save you from maybe damaging those springs. So these are a real handy tool to have. So get yourself some clamps and spring tools, and you're good to go. And that's it for my tips for today as far as safety goes. And I'm going to go ahead and load that drum back on there. The drum's been cleaned off. I wiped it down I say it was fairly new, but that squeaking noise on it, we just couldn't bear it. So I did have a damaged shoe, and I've got replacements now. So I'll go ahead and I mount that on there. All right, you're good to go. I've already taken up the adjuster on the bottom to take up the slack for the parking brake and to get those shoes right out there. So I've got just a little bit of resistance so they don't overheat too much and wear them prematurely. That's what I've got today for you, and appreciate you watching. And I've also appreciated a lot of the time that the other fellows have taken on YouTube to show you how to do some of this. It gives you the confidence to get in there and to add my 2 cents worth as far as what I think is helpful for those guys out there working in the garage. So thank you very much. Goodbye.